Tonight, as you come before this sacred moment, nothing about your arrival here is accidental. Your heart may be heavy with debt, sickness, fractured relationships, or a silent fear that no one else sees. But heaven has aligned this exact hour for your breakthrough. Through this very powerful prayer to Saint Anthony, what was lost will be found, what was broken will begin to heal, and what seemed impossible will shift. This is the moment your miracle begins. Stay until the end, so you do not lose the blessings Saint Anthony has prepared for you. And to the one holding on by a thread, this is your divine turning point. The God of the impossible is moving right now through this miraculous prayer to Saint Anthony, reaching into financial storms, wounded families, and impossible requests. Your pain is seen, your tears are counted, your hope is not in vain. Heaven is not silent, heaven is responding. If you feel this prayer touching your spirit, whisper glory to God in the comments and stay with faith. And before we continue, if this prayer is already touching your heart and bringing a sense of peace to your spirit, you can support this mission of faith by clicking the Super Thanks button right below this video. Your generosity keeps this channel alive and allows these powerful prayers to reach more souls who are suffering in silence. May God bless your kindness and multiply every seed you sow. O blessed Saint Anthony, gentle protector of broken hearts and weary souls, we cry out for your holy intercession. You who have carried countless prayers before God, carry now the burdens of those listening. The financial emergency, the family torn apart, the unanswered diagnosis, the fear that steals sleep. Through this prayer to Saint Anthony, let hope rise again. Let every impossible request be brought before heaven with power. And to everyone listening, do not leave, because the blessing that transforms everything is still ahead. O glorious Wonderworker, lift up the ones facing desperate cases, debts increasing, relationships fading, and futures clouded by uncertainty. Let this urgent miracle begin to unfold in ways they cannot yet see. Remind their hearts that closed doors are not final, that silence is not abandonment, that delay is not denial. Through your infallible prayer to Saint Anthony, open paths that seemed sealed, restore homes that felt beyond repair, and comfort those who sit in quiet despair. Stay with me, because what comes next carries divine fire. Saint Anthony, beloved friend of the hopeless and finder of all things lost, intercede now for every listener who refuses to give up. Present their impossible prayer that works before the throne of God, the healing of bodies, the restoration of homes, the financial advancement, the rescue of children, the rebuilding of marriages. Let heaven respond swiftly. There is something sacred waiting in the next part of this prayer, a release of grace, strength, and breakthrough. If you believe Saint Anthony is already carrying your name to heaven, type Amen and continue with faith, for the miracle is only beginning. First mystery, the opening of the impossible doors. The first mystery begins in the place where many feel the deepest wound, the feeling of being stuck behind a wall that refuses to fall. Saint Anthony walks beside those who carry invisible pain, debt, illness, heartbreak, loss. Through this prayer to Saint Anthony, the heart discovers that impossible doors can open without warning. The listener must understand this. Some breakthroughs begin quietly. Some miracles whisper before they roar. And this moment is the whisper before your storm breaks. Saint Anthony teaches that the first movement of heaven often happens inside you. When fear loosens its grip, your soul becomes a landing place for miracles. Through this miraculous prayer today, courage begins to return, hope starts to breathe again, strength that felt lost suddenly rises, and this inner awakening is the first sign that impossible requests are shifting. Imagine someone sitting at their kitchen table, staring at unpaid bills, feeling ashamed, defeated. They touch their forehead and whisper a prayer. Nothing changes right away, or so they think. But in that moment, heaven aligns a path they cannot see. A check arrives later, a job opens, a debt clears. This is the pattern of miracles, quiet beginnings that grow louder. And St. Anthony is the saint who specializes in these holy alignments. O miraculous St. Anthony, who never abandoned those who cried out in desperation, I lay before you my financial struggles. This supplication echoes across the first mystery, breaking chains of scarcity. Through this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, the faithful learn that financial storms do not define destiny. God does. And St. Anthony carries every burden into God's hands. There are people in this moment battling loneliness so intense it feels like a second skin. Silence in their home, distance in their marriage, children drifting like strangers. But St. Anthony steps into these places with gentle authority. Through this urgent miracle prayer, he breathes warmth into cold rooms, restores communication, softens hearts. What was stiff with resentment begins to thaw. St. Anthony reminds the faithful that impossibilities are not barriers to God, but pathways. What seems like a dead end is often divine redirection. Through this impossible prayer that works, the faithful learn to see beyond the visible. They begin to trust that something greater moves beneath the surface, preparing miracles that eyes cannot yet recognize. O glorious Saint Anthony, friend of the suffering and comforter of the sick, touch every wound that medicine cannot cure. This plea rises from those facing unbearable health battles, pain that steals rest, fear that clouds the mind. But Saint Anthony has walked with millions through sickness into healing. His intercession reaches where human effort stops, and healing flows, even if step by step. There are listeners who feel like failures because their dreams collapsed. They've tried, struggled, hoped, only to watch life crumble. But St. Anthony picks up shattered dreams with holy tenderness. Through this miraculous prayer to St. Anthony, he rebuilds what felt beyond repair. He restores identity, confidence, and purpose. Some watching right now feel forgotten. Friends have vanished, family doesn't understand, prayers feel unanswered. But St. Anthony whispers, you are not unseen. Heaven records every cry. Through this prayer that works instantly, he lifts your name before God. What felt ignored becomes remembered. What felt delayed becomes accelerated. In this first mystery, the faithful learn that miracles often begin as a shift in perspective. Hearts open, faith stirs, expectation rises. The weight lightens, not because the problem is gone, but because belief is alive again, and belief is the soil where miracles take root. O blessed Saint Anthony, defend me against dangers seen and unseen. This supplication becomes a shield over every listener. It protects homes, families, finances, and futures. Through this urgent help prayer, the faithful discover that spiritual protection is as real as physical walls. Angels stand guard where St. Anthony intercedes. Some need restoration in their homes so desperately that they cry in silence. But St. Anthony draws near to those who whisper through pain. Through this restoration of home's intercession, he begins to heal what has been broken for years. Arguments soften, apologies rise, unity returns one moment at a time. There are parents watching who are afraid for their children, choices they make, paths they walk, dangers unseen. But St. Anthony, protector of the vulnerable, watches over them. Through this restoration of family relationships, he pulls wandering children back home, spiritually and physically. No child is too lost for grace. The first mystery also teaches perseverance. St. Anthony opens doors, but believers must walk through them. Faith without movement becomes stagnation, but when the faithful take even a small step, applying for one job, making one call, forgiving one person, heaven multiplies their effort. Miracles accelerate where obedience begins. O Saint Anthony, worker of wonders, I entrust to you the paths that seem blocked. This supplication carries profound power. It turns walls into gates. It transforms fear into momentum. Through this financial advancement request, careers are restored, opportunities multiply, and new provision flows. Some need healing of mind, anxiety, fear, overthinking. St. Anthony enters those battles gently. Through this healing intercession, he lifts the fog of despair, quiets intrusive thoughts, and brings clarity where confusion once lived. Peace becomes possible again. The faithful must understand this truth. St. Anthony does not rush miracles. He perfects them. Divine timing is never late, and when the first signs appear, a message, a feeling, a shift, the heart should not doubt. This is the seed of breakthrough. It will grow. As the first mystery closes, expectation should now be rising. Something is shifting, something is stirring. The faithful begin to feel it, a warmth, a hope, a pull. And St. Anthony is orchestrating it all. The next step in this journey carries deeper fire and even greater revelation. If you feel this first mystery awakening faith in you, whisper in the comments, "Glory to God, my miracle is beginning." And prepare your heart, because the second mystery will take you even deeper into God's movement. Second mystery. When heaven works in the silence, the second mystery begins in a place many fear, the silence before the breakthrough. It is in this silence that St. Anthony whispers the truth your heart has forgotten. Silence is not punishment, it is preparation. Through this prayer to St. Anthony, the soul learns that God is working behind the scenes, aligning miracles that require divine timing. And though nothing looks different on the outside yet, the spiritual atmosphere around you is shifting now. Many listeners feel overwhelmed by delays. You prayed, you hoped, you waited, but no answer came. In this mystery, St. Anthony teaches that waiting does not mean abandonment. Through this miraculous prayer today, seeds buried in darkness are already sprouting. The roots of your miracle are gripping deeper soil. What is unseen is not undone. Heaven is crafting a breakthrough that will exceed expectation. Some people fear the quiet because it feels like God is gone. But St. Anthony stands firmly beside those who cannot hear heaven's voice. He reminds them that emotion does not dictate reality. Through this urgent miracle request, divine intervention continues even in the quietest hours. And often the greatest transformations happen in silence, not noise. O Saint Anthony, worker of wonders, I surrender the areas where I hear nothing. This supplication becomes a lighthouse for those drifting in spiritual fog. The faithful begin to see that the absence of sound is the presence of strategy. Heaven bends low in silence, preparing the exact moment when prayers burst into reality. The second mystery also reveals that silence is often the threshold of breakthrough. People feel tension, pressure, sadness, confusion, all signs that something is about to shift. St. Anthony teaches the faithful to lean in, not withdraw. Through this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, anticipation becomes fuel, expectation becomes oxygen, silence becomes sacred. There are those struggling with financial emergency so intense it feels suffocating, bills unanswered, debts increasing, opportunities fading. But St. Anthony steps into this silence with holy authority. He carries financial burdens to God, even when no earthly solution seems near. And breakthrough begins with a single whisper of faith. Help me, Lord. Move for me. Heaven responds. A woman once shared that for months she heard nothing, no calls, no opportunities, no hope. but she kept praying this prayer that works instantly. Then one morning, an unexpected email appeared, a job she never applied for, offering better pay than she had ever earned. Silence is not stagnation, it is positioning. O miraculous Saint Anthony, open doors I cannot see. This supplication pulls divine movement into hidden places. It reminds the faithful that closed doors are not the end. They are the beginning of miracles waiting to manifest. St. Anthony specializes in doors unseen, opportunities unplanned, blessings unexpected. Some are enduring silence in their family relationships, children distant, spouses cold, communication shattered. But Saint Anthony hears the cries of parents, partners, and loved ones. Through this restoration of family relationships intercession, cracks begin to close even when no one is speaking. Hearts soften, memories rise, love rekindles. Silence becomes the soil of reconciliation. This mystery also teaches the discipline of trust. Trust is not believing God can, it is believing God will. It is choosing faith when nothing makes sense. Through this impossible prayer that works, trust becomes the bridge between the silent present and the miraculous future. And those who trust will see. O glorious Saint Anthony, comfort the silent sufferer who cannot voice their pain. This supplication rises over those battling in secret, the ones who wake up with anxiety, cry quietly, pretend to be strong. But St. Anthony kneels beside them. He lifts their hidden tears to heaven, and healing begins quietly, like dawn breaking after the longest night. People often mistake unanswered prayers for forgotten prayers, but not a single word spoken in faith is lost. St. Anthony gathers every plea, every sigh, every tear. Through this miraculous prayer to St. Anthony, he presents them with dignity before God, and the heavens respond with mercy. Delay is not denial. Delay is divine design. Some in this moment feel trapped, emotionally, financially, spiritually, but St. Anthony enters the cage of fear and unlocks it from the inside. He brings peace where panic lived, clarity where confusion ruled, hope where despair settled. Through this healing intercession, inner transformation begins before outer results appear. Silence also pressures the faithful to question themselves. Am I doing something wrong? Is God angry? Did I miss my chance? But the second mystery reveals that heaven is not punishing you. Heaven is preparing you. Saint Anthony stands as witness that God works with precision, not haste, and the next step is always purposeful. Oh, blessed Saint Anthony, guide me through the silent hallway before the door opens. This plea becomes strength for those discouraged. It reminds the faithful that every hallway leads somewhere, and when they reach the door, St. Anthony will be the first to turn the key. People underestimate the value of spiritual maturity gained in silence. In silence, faith grows muscles. In silence, character strengthens. In silence, trust deepens. Through this financial advancement intercession, the faithful learn to hold steady because blessing is being constructed piece by piece. Those who remain steadfast in silence will witness miracles loud enough to break every doubt. A message, a phone call, a healing, a reconciliation, a breakthrough. St. Anthony orchestrates these divine surprises strategically, never late, always perfect. This mystery concludes not with answers, but with awakening. The listener realizes their spirit is stronger than they believed. Their faith is deeper than they imagined. Their miracle is closer than they felt. And the silence begins to sound like a promise instead of a punishment. If this mystery speaks to the quiet places inside you, write in the comments, "Heaven is moving in my silence." And prepare your heart, for the third mystery will ignite a deeper flame, a stronger faith, and a supernatural shift. Third mystery, the rising of unshakable faith. The third mystery begins where doubt once lived. It is here that St. Anthony ignites a flame inside those who feel weary, uncertain, or afraid. Faith does not start loud, it starts as a whisper, but through this prayer to St. Anthony, that whisper becomes a roar. This is the mystery where your spirit begins to rise above everything that tried to break you. Many believe faith comes only from joy, but St. Anthony teaches that the strongest faith is born in adversity. When life hits hardest, faith sharpens. When hope feels distant, faith grows deeper roots. Through this miraculous prayer today, every listener learns that resilience is not the absence of fear. It is the refusal to quit. In this mystery, the faithful begin to feel something stirring. A courage that wasn't there before. A peace that doesn't match their circumstances. A certainty that cannot be explained. That is the movement of heaven. That is the sign that St. Anthony is interceding fiercely for every impossible request placed before God. O St. Anthony, strengthen my heart when my faith feels fragile. This supplication becomes a shield for those who feel they're hanging by a thread. Faith is not perfection, it is persistence. Every time you choose to believe again, even with trembling hands, heaven moves closer. Some listeners feel overwhelmed by financial emergency, believing nothing will change. But faith shifts the atmosphere long before circumstances shift. St. Anthony moves through unseen spaces, touching decisions, aligning opportunities, opening paths that were previously shut. Miracles often begin with faith rising first, results follow. Others are battling fear of the future, fear of loss, fear of failing again. But St. Anthony whispers courage into trembling hearts. Through this urgent miracle prayer, fear begins to lose its grip. Faith becomes the louder voice, and the faithful learn that courage is not the absence of fear, it's stepping forward even when fear screams. A man once shared that after praying this prayer that works instantly, he still felt anxious for days. Nothing changed, until suddenly everything did. A job offer, a restored relationship, a peace he had not felt in years. Faith does not always move fast, but it always moves. O miraculous St. Anthony, anchor my faith when storms rise. This plea carries supernatural weight. It reminds the faithful that storms do not last, but faith does. And when faith stands firm, miracles follow like dawn after night. Some are praying for healing, physical, emotional, mental. Their faith is tired. Their body is tired. But St. Anthony stands with those who cannot stand on their own. Through his intercession, the faithful learn that healing rarely begins in the flesh. It begins in the spirit. And where faith rises, healing takes root. There are parents praying for children who seem unreachable, teens lost in rebellion, adults distant from home. But St. Anthony, patron of lost things, excels at bringing hearts back. Through this restoration of family relationships intercession, the faithful begin to trust that what feels far is not gone, just waiting for the right moment to return. Faith grows through repetition, not repeating problems, but repeating truth. Saying God will do it, even when you don't feel it. Saying my miracle is coming, even when nothing looks different. Through this infallible prayer to St. Anthony, repetition becomes revelation. O glorious St. Anthony, breathe new strength into my weary spirit. This supplication lifts those who feel exhausted by life. St. Anthony brings heavenly encouragement, the kind that settles in the soul and becomes a weapon against despair. Some listening may feel unworthy of miracles. Shame weighs heavily, past mistakes cloud their confidence. But St. Anthony brings a truth that shakes heaven and earth. Miracles are not earned, they are given. Through this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, the faithful learn that grace outruns guilt every time. This mystery teaches that faith must be active. Faith declares, faith expects, faith prepares. If you are praying for a financial breakthrough, act as though the opportunity is coming. Update your resume, apply again, prepare your documents. If you're praying for family reconciliation, soften your tone, open your heart. These small steps invite miracles. In this sacred moment, the faithful begin to realize that faith is not waiting. Faith is moving forward while you wait. St. Anthony empowers every listener to take one step, however small, and heaven multiplies it into breakthrough. Through this financial advancement intercession, steps become testimonies. O blessed St. Anthony, guide my steps when I can't see the path. This supplication becomes a prayer of direction for the lost. St. Anthony illuminates the next step, even if the whole path remains hidden. Some listeners feel abandoned, believing their prayers bounce back unanswered. But the third mystery brings a revelation. Silence is not rejection, it is positioning. Through this impossible prayer that works, the faithful learn that the quiet season is often the most powerful one. Faith also requires imagination. You must see the possibility before it arrives. St. Anthony invites the faithful to picture the miracle, the healed body, the restored home, the paid bills, the reunited family. Visualization aligns the heart with heaven's intention, and heaven responds. St. Anthony also teaches that faith without gratitude is incomplete. Gratitude unlocks what faith requests. Even now, thanking God for what is coming activates movement in the spiritual realm. Gratitude becomes a proclamation of expectation. This mystery reaches its peak when the faithful realize that their miracle is not only possible, it is already in motion. They begin to pray differently, walk differently, think differently. Faith becomes their default posture, not fear. And in this awakening, St. Anthony stands as both intercessor and witness. He carries every word, every tear, every hope to God with holy confidence. And heaven answers holy confidence with holy speed. If you feel your faith rising through this mystery, type in the comments, "My faith is stronger, my miracle is closer." Prepare your heart. The fourth mystery will take you into deeper surrender and supernatural alignment. Fourth mystery, the power of surrender that unlocks the supernatural. The fourth mystery begins where human strength ends. St. Anthony meets the faithful in the exact moment they feel they can't carry the burden any longer. This is where surrender becomes holy. Through this prayer to St. Anthony, your heart learns that giving the battle to God is not weakness, it is wisdom. And every time you release what is heavy, heaven takes over what is impossible. Many fight battles they were never meant to carry. Fear about money, tension in relationships, worry about children, anxiety about medical results. The more they fight, the heavier life becomes. Saint Anthony teaches that surrender is not losing control. It is handing control back to the one who sees all. Through this miraculous prayer today, surrender becomes strength. Some believe surrender means giving up hope, but St. Anthony reveals the opposite. Surrender activates miracles faster than striving. When you release the timeline, heaven releases the blessing. When you stop forcing, God starts moving. Through this urgent miracle intercession, surrender becomes a spiritual key. O St. Anthony, gentle protector, I surrender what I cannot fix. This supplication rises like incense. It frees the listener from the illusion of self-reliance. It reminds the heart that burdens were meant to be shared with heaven, not carried alone. In this mystery, listeners learn that surrender happens in layers. First, you release fear, then you release control, then you release expectations, and with each release, peace flows deeper. Through this prayer that works instantly, the soul experiences relief that cannot be explained because it is supernatural. Imagine someone fighting for years to hold a relationship together. Arguments, tears, silence, tension. They tried everything, but the miracle only began when they whispered, "Lord, take this." Within days, hearts softened, conversations restarted, healing began. Surrender made room for restoration. Some are struggling through financial emergency, doing everything humanly possible, budgeting, working extra, sacrificing sleep, yet nothing changes. St. Anthony steps into this exhaustion gently. Through this financial advancement intercession, he teaches that surrender does not mean abandoning responsibility, but yielding the outcome to God. O glorious Saint Anthony, take this burden from my hands and place it in God's care. This plea becomes the turning point for many. The moment they release the burden, the atmosphere around their life shifts. New opportunities appear, unexpected provision comes, peace settles in. There are listeners trying to control outcomes in their health, fearing scans, results, symptoms. But surrender brings a different kind of healing, the kind that strengthens the spirit even before the body. Through this healing request, St. Anthony teaches that peace is often the first miracle before physical restoration. Some listening are holding resentment, pain from betrayal, old wounds that cripple their relationships. But surrender breaks chains, pride cannot. Through this restoration of family relationships, intercession, forgiveness becomes possible, hearts soften, and reconciliation takes its first breath. St. Anthony reveals that surrender is not passive, it's active trust. It is choosing to believe God is working even when nothing makes sense. It is saying, "I don't know how, but I know who." Through this impossible prayer that works, the faithful learn that heaven can do in one moment what effort cannot do in years. O miraculous Saint Anthony, teach me to let go of what I was never meant to carry. This supplication transforms inner life. It replaces fear with calm, panic with clarity, despair with hope. It becomes the doorway where miracles walk through. Some listeners fear surrender because they think letting go means losing. But Saint Anthony reveals that letting go is often the only way to receive. When your hands are full of fear, they cannot receive blessing. When your heart is full of control, it cannot receive peace. Surrender empties your hands so heaven can fill them. In this mystery, St. Anthony teaches that surrender requires humility, the humility to say, "God knows better than I do." This humility invites supernatural intervention. It is the moment a believer moves from striving to trusting, and trust accelerates divine movement. There are those who surrendered before and saw nothing change. They feel discouraged, but St. Anthony encourages them. Surrender is not a one-time act. It is a posture, a lifestyle, a continual letting go until peace replaces pressure. Through this miraculous prayer to St. Anthony, the faithful learn that persistence transforms surrender into breakthrough. O blessed St. Anthony, lift the weight I can no longer hold. This plea brings instant relief to weary souls. It reminds the listener that St. Anthony doesn't watch suffering from afar. He steps into it. Some listeners try to surrender but keep taking the burden back. Fear returns. Control sneaks back in. Anxiety tightens its grip. But St. Anthony patiently invites them again and again into release. Through this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, surrender becomes a daily renewal. In this mystery, surrender also means releasing the outcome. The when, the how, the who, the what. Many ask God for miracles but secretly cling to their own timeline. St. Anthony teaches that divine timing is perfect and cannot be rushed. And miracles born in God's timing carry long-lasting peace. Imagine someone praying for family restoration. They apologized, forgave, tried, waited. Nothing changed. Until the moment they said, "God, take over." And slowly, silently, hearts awakened. A phone call came, a message arrived. God moved where human effort collapsed. This is surrender's reward. Some listening need to surrender their fear of the unknown. The future feels intimidating, but St. Anthony guides the faithful step by step. Through this urgent help prayer, fear is replaced by trust, anxiety by confidence, confusion by clarity. Surrender also means releasing guilt, the shame of past mistakes. St. Anthony lifts those burdens with holy tenderness. He whispers that God forgives faster than humans do. Through this impossible prayer that works, the faithful discover that grace is not just offered, it is poured out generously. This mystery reaches its climax when listeners understand that surrender opens the supernatural. Miracles move freely, blessings accelerate, peace flows like a river, and St. Anthony walks beside every listener as both protector and intercessor. If this mystery is touching your heart and lifting your burden, write in the comments, "God, I surrender everything into your hands," and prepare. The fifth mystery will lead you into a bold, fearless confidence that your miracle is already unfolding. Fifth mystery, walking in bold confidence that the miracle is already here. The fifth mystery begins where fear ends. Here, St. Anthony invites the faithful to rise, not as someone begging for a miracle, but as someone who already carries heaven's favor. This is where certainty replaces doubt and boldness replaces trembling. Through this prayer to St. Anthony, every listener steps into a new spiritual posture, the posture of victory. Many ask God for blessings, but still walk as though they are defeated. In this mystery, St. Anthony teaches that miracles are received through confidence, not hesitation. Faith is not hoping God might move, it is trusting God already is. Through this miraculous prayer today, confidence becomes the bridge between heaven and earth. Some listeners still struggle with doubt. They wonder if they are worthy of a miracle, if their past disqualifies them, if their mistakes limit God's mercy. St. Anthony shatters these lies. He reveals that heaven responds not to perfection, but to faith. Through this urgent miracle intercession, believers learn to stand boldly before God. O St. Anthony, help me walk with confidence even before the miracle manifests. This supplication empowers the heart to believe without hesitation. Confidence opens spiritual gates that fear once closed. Heaven is drawn to bold faith. Imagine someone praying for months for a new job, applying everywhere, receiving silence, feeling discouraged. Then one day, they decide to shift their posture, speaking life instead of lack. Within days, a door opens. Confidence accelerates miracles. Through this financial advancement request, the listener learns that heaven responds to expectation. In this mystery, St. Anthony guides the faithful to declare not just request, to speak the miracle as though it already stands at the door. The Bible teaches that life and death are in the power of the tongue. Through this prayer that works instantly, declarations become divine commands. Some are battling fear over their family, relationships strained, children distant, spouses emotionally cold. But bold faith speaks restoration even when the house feels silent. Through this restoration of family relationships intercession, St. Anthony teaches that what is spoken in faith is planted in the Spirit, and what is planted grows. O glorious St. Anthony, let my words align with heaven's truth, not fear's lies. This plea becomes the foundation of supernatural confidence. When faith speaks, miracles follow. There are those facing physical pain or chronic illness who feel discouraged by time. But confidence in God's healing power shifts everything. Confidence attracts miracles. Through this healing request, the faithful learn that healing is not a distant dream, it is a present promise. Some listen to this prayer feeling trapped financially, emotionally, spiritually, but St. Anthony reminds them that confidence is a weapon. When fear says, "It will never change," confidence says, "It already has." Through this impossible prayer that works, confidence becomes a prophecy over your own life. Confidence also protects the mind. Negative thoughts lose their power when confronted by truth. St. Anthony teaches, if your mind agrees with heaven, your life soon follows. Through this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, listeners learn to take ownership of their thoughts and redirect them toward divine certainty. O miraculous St. Anthony, strengthen my mind so I can believe boldly. This supplication becomes a helmet, guarding the thoughts that shape destiny. Some feel overwhelmed by circumstances, unable to see progress. But bold confidence looks beyond the moment. It declares victory even while standing in the battle. St. Anthony invites the faithful to hold their spiritual ground because heaven is fighting for them even now. In this mystery, St. Anthony reveals that confidence is not arrogance. It is alignment. Alignment with God's will, God's power, and God's timing. When you stand in alignment, miracles become inevitable. Silence becomes preparation. Delay becomes direction. Through this urgent help prayer, confidence takes root. Some may worry that confidence means pretending everything is fine. But spiritual confidence is not pretending. It is perceiving. It is seeing by faith what eyes cannot yet see. This is the essence of miracles. St. Anthony helps believers tune their hearts to heaven's frequency. Imagine someone whose marriage collapsed years ago. No communication, no hope, nothing left. They begin to pray boldly, not timidly. They declare restoration. And slowly, unexpectedly, hearts soften. Messages come. Healing returns. Confidence opened what fear had sealed shut. Through this restoration of homes intercession, hope becomes reality. O blessed St. Anthony, teach me to stand in victory even before I see results. This supplication lifts the faithful into a higher realm of trust, where miracles flow faster. Confidence also transforms posture. Those who once walked with slumped shoulders begin to walk with strength. Those who once spoke with hesitation begin to speak with conviction. Those who once felt small begin to feel chosen. Confidence is not emotional, it is spiritual. Some listeners feel intimidated by their circumstances, convinced their situation is too big, too broken, too late. But St. Anthony reveals that no situation is beyond God's reach. Through this prayer to St. Anthony, confidence becomes the doorway through which heaven steps into earth. In this mystery, the faithful learn to thank God before seeing the result. Gratitude is evidence of confidence. Gratitude accelerates movement in the spiritual realm. Gratitude is a victory shout before the walls fall. And when gratitude rises, miracles descend. Your atmosphere begins to change the moment confidence takes hold. Decisions shift. Opportunities emerge. People return. Healing awakens. Provision arrives. Through this financial emergency intercession, the faithful discover that confidence is a magnet for blessings. This mystery climaxes when listeners realize that their miracle is already unfolding, not tomorrow, now, not eventually, immediately. St. Anthony stands beside them, guiding, interceding, presenting their names before heaven with boldness. If you feel confidence rising in your spirit, declare in the comments, "My miracle is here, it is done," and stay with me. Because what comes next is the sacred, powerful final blessing that seals everything God has begun. May the peace that surpasses all understanding fall upon you now, like gentle rain from heaven. Through this prayer to St. Anthony, Every burden begins to loosen, every fear begins to fade, and every impossible weight starts to lift. You are not leaving this moment the same way you entered. God is moving in your favor, even now. May Saint Anthony, holy intercessor of desperate hearts, carry your deepest petitions into the presence of God with boldness and love. Let every whispered plea rise like incense before the throne, and may this very hour mark the turning point of your story. The moment heaven begins its undeniable work. Over your home, may divine protection settle like a shield of light. May walls saturated with stress be filled again with laughter. May rooms heavy with silence be revived with unity. Through this restoration of home's grace, every fracture in your family is now under divine repair. Over your finances, may provision flow from unexpected places. May closed doors reopen. May new opportunities appear. May debts bow to divine intervention, and may your life be filled with supernatural advancement. This financial emergency will not swallow you. Heaven is already responding. Over your health, may healing move through every cell, every muscle, every organ. St. Anthony, comforter of the sick, place your gentle hand upon all who suffer. Let pain weaken, let strength return. Through this healing prayer, may the impossible become possible. Over your relationships, may reconciliation bloom like spring after a harsh winter. May bitterness melt. May communication be restored. May forgiveness take root. Through this restoration of family relationships blessing, let love return where wounds once lived. May fear leave your heart, let anxiety lose its grip, let confusion dissolve. You are surrounded by divine presence, a presence that goes before you, shields behind you, and walks beside you. Through this miraculous prayer to St. Anthony, peace becomes your new atmosphere. May clarity guide your decisions. May wisdom strengthen your steps. May God illuminate paths that once felt hidden. No more walking blind, no more wandering aimlessly. Heaven is directing every detail of your journey. May every impossible request you carried into this prayer now rest in the hands of God. There is no mountain too heavy, no battle too fierce, no situation too far gone. Your surrender has opened the supernatural, and St. Anthony is interceding with holy urgency. May unexpected blessings begin to surround you. The right conversation, the right message, the right opportunity at the perfect time. Heaven wastes nothing. Everything is aligning for your good, even if you cannot see it yet. May your nights be peaceful. No more restless tossing, no more racing thoughts. May your dreams be filled with reassurance and divine comfort. Let angels stand guard over your home, ensuring that no weapon formed against you can prosper. May your spirit rise with strength you did not have before this prayer. May your mind walk free from old chains. May your heart overflow with new hope. St. Anthony walks beside you now, not in myth, not in memory, but in spirit and power. May you wake tomorrow with bold confidence that your miracle is not coming, it has begun. Through this powerful Catholic prayer for miracles, breakthrough is already unfolding behind closed doors, preparing to emerge into your life with holy force. May testimonies follow you. May people ask what changed, and may you answer, God did. This is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of divine acceleration. The winds are shifting in your favor. May your home, your family, your finances, your health, your purpose, all fall under the covering of divine mercy. Saint Anthony, lift every listener's name before heaven with urgency, love, and supernatural authority. May the light of God surround you, the love of God fill you, and the favor of God follow you wherever you go. Walk in confidence, walk in faith, walk as someone blessed beyond measure. If this blessing touched your heart, declare in the comments, I receive this blessing. My miracle is sealed. What if this was the moment heaven shifted your entire story? Are you willing to walk differently starting today? What area of your life are you declaring restored, healed, or transformed right now? What miracle are you courageous enough to speak out loud in faith before it appears? If this prayer stirred your soul, let faith speak through your actions. Write Amen in the comments as a public declaration of trust, and let the world see your confidence in what God is doing through St. Anthony. Your words ignite miracles. Share this prayer with someone who is suffering in silence, a relative, a friend, a neighbor. You might be the reason their blessing begins. Let the wave of hope continue beyond you, reaching homes that desperately need this light. And if this message touched your spirit, subscribe to this channel so you can walk daily under prayers, blessings, and divine encouragement. Each video is another opportunity for heaven to speak into your life. Your miracle is not only coming, it has already begun.